brilliant. It's a hero maximum. On the ground, down the ground, another hero maximum.
Welcome back to the Maximum Cricket Podcast, your Patreon special number 2. We have Jacko here, of course. Just quickly, we need a name for the pod, Jacko, or this particular show. Anything off the top of your head?
No, I mean, nothing's springing to mind. I think we might need to, get a bit of feedback from the listeners here on what to call the Patreon special. We've had some good advice in the past on segments, so I think we're going to need a big assist here from some of the listeners.
I like it. Just sort of separates a little bit. So let's move on to our first sort of segment. Last week, Jacko, we had a go at building the perfect right-handed batsman, or the test batsman, I should say. If you haven't seen it, go back and have a listen. But to summarise, we went with the following. For defence, we went the wall, Rahul Dravid. Run it down to third man, we went Kane Williamson. Cut shot, Ross Taylor. Cover drive, Ian Bell. Straight drive, Sachin Tendulkar. The flick off the pads, the Michael Pup Clark. And the pull shot, obviously, Ricky Ponting. Bit of feedback we got from our listeners. But hit and miss stuff. Sachin Tendulkar for the cut shot, which, to be honest, I don't hate. No doubt us thinking of Ross Taylor has something to do with being Kiwis, mostly, I would say.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, so a lot of that. And a lot of us being Kiwis is probably the running it down to third man. Got a lot of Joe Root should be in there somewhere, either run to third man or adding a back foot punch. So I don't hate it. We did talk about a back foot punch, how we could add it. Yeah. So like
we could add the back foot punch and get Joe Root in there just to, keep the punters happy.
Keep the English happy. Again,
the paid subscribers happy even.
That's right. Well, if you pay subscribers, you get that sort of say.
You get that sort of sway, don't you? You get that influence over the boys.
100%. You're like an investor in the show. That's what you do. You have like creative say, you
have some creative input.
We got a little bit of heat on Babar Azam, which is not surprising. A little controversial, which is fine. I was thinking about it today, Jacko, where I think one of the issues with the like all around great batsmen like your Sachins, your Kohlis, your Babar is the shot's not signature because they've got so many other signature shots. Yeah. It's not the same as like an Ian Bell, who's obviously a great player, but he's not in that realm where that cover drive is elite, whereas like nothing else is elite, so it stands out.
Doesn't it? Yeah. And I think as well, like it's a real like rose-tinted glasses. Like Ian Bell's cover shot was the first one I ever saw that I was like, bang, that's like the best one I've seen. And it just sticks with you. I think if you went side by side, Bell and Babar Azam, like it's six one way, half a dozen the other. Like it's splitting hairs at this point. But yeah, I just had to go in Bell. I think it's growing up. It's 05 Ashes. It's all of this stuff. So and Bubba, rightly or wrongly, probably does lose a spot there for just being like so good 360. But yeah, I mean, maybe he's on there. We'll check the makeup of the subscribers, and then maybe adjust from there.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on to our nominations this week, we're going left-hand jobs. Should we start with what shot do you want to start with? What sort of nominations you running?
Yeah, I think we'll probably start where I ended last week with the cover drive. And there's probably a couple of contenders. I think Hussey's was very, very nice.
He's on my list,
your Hussey springs to mind. Sir Alistair Cook, good batter, just sort of that big tall left-hander springs to mind a little bit. Not as prominent, but I think there's only one here. And I've made some mistakes in the past with this player. I've left him off some lists, but I'll make sure he's here, and he's here at 1. Give me Kumar Sangakkara's cover drive. I just don't think there's a better one in world cricket, left or right-handed, probably.
Yeah, when we do the all-time signature shots, Ian Bell versus Sangakkara, it's going to be a tough one. I think there's just something elegant around Kumar where he's down on both knees. He's quite low to the ground. It's that flair it's not technically correct, but it's got flair. I don't know what it is. It just looks beautiful.
There's some angle stuff, I think. Like there's some playing it with the angle, the difficulty's increased. So yeah, I think Kumar for me has to get it.
I'll second that. Then,
yeah. And then I mean your cut shots. I think Hussey's going to feature a lot on this list. Just in terms of he might be the 2 at every shot, which will hurt me. Because he was such a good player. But yeah, Tom Latham I'll put up there.
Yeah, he's on my list. Yeah,
in this category, sort of the back foot punch / cut, I think is probably a combo for the left-hander.
Quite strong. He's quite strong top elbow.
Yeah,
like really strong. Always showing it sort of thing. Really like it.
So, I mean, Kumar's going to come in all of these as well. Kumar might be the best all-round looking batter that's ever played. So, yeah, I think the cut shot's quite hard to determine, but I mean, that bias could lean us towards Tom. But yeah, I mean, open to swaying anyway.
Yeah, I also had I had LC Cook and I had a Justin Langer on that list as well.
Yeah.
All I remember with Langer is you didn't have to miss by much. He's playing in hard and fast grounds in Australia, and it's always rifling to the boundary. It's always really hard.
He sort of jumped out at it too, didn't he? Sort of like attacked it. So Langer's a big one actually. I like Langer a lot actually.
I don't know. That could be anyway. I'll leave that one with you. You can sort of pick that one if you want.
We'll go Langer cut shot, and we'll go Tom Latham back foot punch if we've added the shot in.
Okay. Yeah.
Just that nice high elbow. And then if we're talking cut, let's go round the back foot. That guide to third man, probably not as much in the left-handers repertoire as it. Like
I've only got Bradman, apparently.
Yeah.
we had. I will say in the Patreon where we had a listener say that Bradman has the best run down to third man, and I'm thinking, first of all, how old are you? Like, were you watching Bradman live? Were you like I got some 80-year-old on TikTok telling me that Bradman's really good at running down the wicket. And also, like, bowlers are like 90 kilometers an hour back then. Like, you're running it down for 1. Like, you're not getting 4. So I can't think of anyone else. It
just feels like if it's wide enough to run down, you're probably cutting as a left-hander.
Yeah, because it's always like it's going across,
flashing at it. Yeah, you're not actually like running it. There's probably a bit too much risk. So that sort of takes the pull shot and the pull hook. And I think for me, this is probably Sangakkara versus Hussey again. Potentially.
A couple more options.
Yeah. Your Langers are in there, I think. Your Matty Haydens, just for brute sort of force.
He was quite good around that midriff era. Like, just like I always remember him like shuffling down the wicket and then just moosing like a 125 kilometer bowler over mid wicket.
There's that famous doco bit about, if this was a one day, I'll be putting this guy into the stands, and Langer's like, we'll just fucking do it, mate. And he was 100 before lunch. Like,
do you reckon those guys just got up each other, sort of fizzed each other out the whole time, just got in a fight?
They would have had to been left alone for like 10 minutes pre-going out there, and I reckon they were like, before they padded up, they would have been like baggy green and budgie smugglers only. Just full energy, just fizzing each other up.
Opening batters are a different breed. I'll as a former opening batter, we're strange cookies.
Yeah.
Strange cookies.
Yeah. But yeah, love to hear your sort of inputs on the pull shot.
Well, you definitely mentioned on a Hussey, I had him. He was like a nice wee around like hip height, just that sort of like forward press swivel. Really like that.
Yeah.
But in terms of like genuine hook shots, I've got Stokes and Alistair Cook. Like particularly Cook, it's like core memory stuff. I'm thinking 2010 Ashes in Australia, like they couldn't bump him because he's so good at the pull shot. And then with Stokes, it's I'm thinking like he just hits it with so much ferocity, like it's in the stands type stuff. And I think I just love him. He features later for me again. I love his sort of simple sort of technique for me. So Stokes is on there, but I'd probably lean on Hussey a little bit.
Yeah, I think we could even have your Hussey forward a square pull, your Alistair Cook hook shot almost sort of split it.
Yeah, you could go Hussey pull shot, Cook hook shot, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that.
So I think that your left-hander probably needs both because that bouncer comes in at the body a bit. So they do have a genuine pull and hook. You can separate a bit for the lefties. And then I suppose we've got mid-wicket and straight to go. I'm tempted to add the sweep shot in for the left-hander. I know we didn't touch on it on the righties.
Got defense as well, just straight defense.
Just straight defense. I think sweep shot, honourable mention, Ben Stokes both ways. Mainly Headingley stuff, reverse stuff. But yeah, I mean, he is a master of both sweeps for me. So I think that could be a wee special mention on the side for Ben Stokes. And then, if we want to go straight drives, I mean, it's probably Hussey and Kumar again. Like they're just so clean. Alistair Cook maybe gets a mention. So yeah, what do you have for the straight drive?
I like to throw a Matty Hayden at you. Just bully ball, like just in terms of like bullying the ball down the ground. Like that's what I remember. Really good,
just ball
strong
coming back at your stuff.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff. But that's sort of where I'm at. Stokes is another one for me. Really good down the ground. But I'll probably lean on Haydos. Just for like chess stuff. Get
barrel stuff.
Yeah.
And like when he was batting, he didn't wear one of those fedoras, so that's also a positive.
100%. 100%.
And then what we've got sort of the defense and mid wicket to go. Who do you have for your defender?
The only person I could think of that had like a really solid defense as a left-hander, it has to be Alistair Cook. Like you're thinking about all those runs in England where it's impossible to open the batting, and he's got his record, and his like just to have that record opening the batting, you have to have a good defense. Like that was, you couldn't get him out. Like there's times you just can't get him out. But I couldn't think of anyone else. I couldn't think of any other nominations.
Yeah, I think like your defense is your screen stuff. It's your time at the crease. You're leaving the ball well, and I think Alistair did that better than most in the world ever. And as you said, probably the hardest place to bat in the world. And that leaves us mid wicket. And I think those two Aussie great openers sort of come up, don't they? Haydos, big and tall through mid wicket, exceptional. Langer always good through there, but even I like Stokes off his legs. He's a bit of whippy about it. Like there's sort of some flow to his hands. I'm an open book for off the legs as well. If you've got any strong feelings. Yeah,
for me, the only person I could think of like that I just core memory stuff is Stephen Fleming. Just a real caress, like flick off the pads. Like got him in trouble AWW a lot.
Yeah.
But fuck me, he had some whippage on that ball.
Yeah. With the purist too.
It was just like the way he sort of like leaned to the offside and then just sort of flicked the ball up. Always aerial as well. So that's just that's what I remember most of Fleming for me. But
I like Flem there. Let's get a New Zealand great in there with Flem. Actually, I like that a lot.
Too easy. Right. Let's let us know what you think in the comments. And then we'll do the.
Who would you change?
Yeah, who would you change? Who are we missing? Any shots you need to add? And then we've got the big.
Who you picking in your 11 too? That'd be who are you picking to bat 3 out of those 2 players?
Yeah, if it's England, it could be anyone. Just whoever wants it most, I suppose.
Yeah, you've only got one hole in your lineup. Who's getting the call up out of those 2?
Yeah, 100%. Okay, right. Let's move on. Let's start with the draft. On the draft this week, we've still got no Lugsy. So I thought we'll save snacking for a hot minute. We'll wait for Lugsy to return.
Our Lugsy.
He's eating and he's drinking a lot. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, he's getting some reps in. So he might have some new categories.
High risk to give him access to the pod socials while he's on a bender. That's for sure. Anything could go over the next week or so. But I thought like in light of the Bairstow stumping by Alex Carey, there's obviously a lot of talk around what's the correct way of dismissing someone. So I thought this is a good time to this is a good time to draft the dismissal method. So in a nutshell, Jacko, you're at the top of your mark. You can be a spinner, you can be a seamer. What's your ideal dismissal in your head? There's going to be a bit of grey area. There's going to be some crossover. Some dismissals are better for spinners than others. Some like some things are going to get blanketed. Some things are going to be more diverse. We're just gonna roll with it. If it gets flagged, it gets flagged. Did you go first last week?
Yeah, you go first this time, I think.
Okay. I think this is a good pick. I think there's a few good ones to start with. And I think every bowler wants to see the stumps flying. Like, I just think bowled has to be number one. There's no better way. Like, it's just the ultimate I'm better than you. Whether it's a fast bowler, it's top of off, whether it's a spinner, you beat them through the gate. Hitting the stumps, knocking the stumps over. Okay. It's just the best form of dismissal. Most appropriate.
All right. So you're going quite broad. I was going to go very, very specific with some of mine, but
we can go specific as well. You can go. There's some more that had to be specific, but
all right. Well, okay. Well, I'll go here very specific then, and see if you let it pass, because it is a form of bold. But we're talking, some of your great players take great dismissals like this, and I'm thinking your Warnies, your McGills, your Coombles, your leg spinners, and I'm doing bold around the legs.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you go bold around your legs, I'll why don't I change mine to like bold top of off?
Yeah, off stump cartwheeled.
Yeah, off stump cartwheeled. Okay, I like that.
Bale's still on leg and middle stump.
Ooh, that's crisp. That means you just clipped it.
One of one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crisp as a fast bowler. So I like that.
Yeah, that is one of one. But yeah, I think that
bold around your legs is nice though.
Yeah, because you've floated up wide, you've had to rip it heaps. Like, one of the great dismissals for me.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. This one can be spinner. It can be, it could be a pace bowler as well. But I'm going like caught in the cordon. And I think caught in the cordon it just looks better than caught keeper. I don't know why. Like, there's something about like a small feather that just doesn't do it as much to me like a thick edge. Like, even if it's a spinner, it's caught first slip. Like, it's a thick edge, healthy edge, which I like the most. So I just think there's clean about it. I like that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to caught the cordon.
Caught cordon. All right. I'll go a similar route. Still caught behind the wicket, but it's caught at gully. And it's caught a gully off of like a ballooning, like big shoulder or even glove. That ball that gets a bit too big on the batter, or a short one that they just sort of fending off, and it's in its shoulder, and it just balloons to gully, and they take a couple of steps forward and just take a sort of reverse grabber. Like, you've sort of dominated the batter, you're too quick for them, you've done them, and the ball's just in the air and you're just watching it waiting. I think that's, for me personally, that's my 1-1 mode of dismissals. That's my favourite to sort of do. Very happy to get it there in the second round.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty good. There's some good ones here. That's pretty good. See, I don't know, because I was gonna go caught bat pad. I don't know if that's the same. I feel like
bat pad's good.
Yeah, like that's an alpha job. So, like, if you go out bat pad, that's kind of a meek dismissal. Like, you've really done them over there.
Yeah.
Because even as a spinner, to be fair, like caught bat pad.
Bat pad's culmination of things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bat pad's nice. And normally, like, you've got the young guy in at bat pad. No reason he's in there except for that no one of the older blokes want to sort of do it. So there's always some fizz when it goes into the hands as well.
Yeah. No, I'm happy with that.
Now, all right, I'm going to go back to the bold front. Now, actually, I'm not, sorry. I'm going to go LB douche leaving.
That's so good. I really wanted. I was going to sneak in LB douche next, actually. So that's a
this
good
is
one.
Just a wee like outie, set them up. You bowl the innie or the one that straightens, and they don't pick it and they leave it. And it's very satisfying when it's bowled, but it's even better when it hits them on the pad. The cellar appeal goes up. The umpire just gives them dead. And yeah, it's a great feeling to know you've just done someone completely.
There's something about the euphoria about appealing and getting that finger raised. Like it just,
Yeah.
the adrenaline sort of pump, the adrenaline sort of gets you going. Like it's just a little bit different. You've got to work a little harder for that wicket.
Yeah. They're always the biggest celebrations, I think, after an appeal.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't hate it. No, I like that. I like that a lot. How we douche leaving. This is where I think it starts to die off a little bit. I'm gonna have to take, because it hasn't been taken yet. I'll just go the feather to the keeper, just the real fine edge. Just a nice clean catch. Like he's not moving much, he's not diving. It's just straight in the hands. It's really stress-free wicket.
Yeah.
Like I think there's a bit in there for a pacer. Corden knows it's out. Like it's people celebrating before it gets to the keeper's mitts. Yeah, there's a bit there.
Yeah, it's classic, isn't it? So it's a great dismissal. I'm gonna go. Oh, there's a few here that. Yeah, I'm gonna go, and one of the great components of it is playing in the Test series currently. I'm gonna go the leg stump Yorker bowled, Mitch Stark. Like watching a guy sort of jam his bat down and miss it, and he's late on it and sort of poles everywhere. I think the leg stump Yorker bowled is particularly good.
Base of the stump stuff, yeah. Base of the stump.
Yeah.
Don't hate that at all.
Callous in the big bash, like just no time on it. Don't get the bat down. You feel silly and you look silly.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind that. It wouldn't be topical if we didn't bring up this motor dismissal. I am going to go stumped, but I'm going to go the spinner's version, the only acceptable version. Is a spinner's stump. There's something about, as a spinner, when you sort of beat them in flight and they sort of overextend themselves, the back foot sort of drifts out, the keeper takes the bails off. That's like, there's just something about that. Like it's up there with the best dismissals you could do. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the great thing about a stumping from a spinner is like, doesn't have to be ragging. Like you've done them over not just with spin, like your primary roll sometimes. But yeah, it's a great feeling. So we've got one left to close it out.
Yeah, this is your last pick. Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna go corn bowled.
Ooh, I had that on my list. Had it on my list.
Yeah. And I mean, we can go broad or we can go like narrow, but I think any caught and bowled, especially the reaction ones when you just, mitt out and it's sitting in it. There's just something about it. We caught and bowled that going through it, you have that fear of the ball's come and then it's in my hand and fucking up you go. Yeah. A caught and bowled's really satisfying.
Yeah, I like that. I quite like that as a spinner as well, because it's that same sort of thing where you've sort of deceived them in the air and they've poked at it a little earlier. They get the return catch. There's a bit in that, like that.
Yeah.
That's a good list. It's a good list. We have to chuck that up on socials. That's outstanding.
Yeah, it's two good lists actually.
Yeah. Okay. So our last segment, Jacko. It's top 10 time. The only clue I gave you before today was that it was the Test batting rankings at a certain point in time.
Yeah. Now, I'm not doing any research either, which I mean, you keep giving me these clues and I keep shooting myself in the foot.
I don't know if you could do much with that, to be fair, but this week it's been a big one for Steve Smith. His 100th Test, highest average of all time after 100 Tests. But of course, everyone knows the story about him making his debut as a leg spinning all-rounder. July 13th, 2010, Australia playing in Pakistan at Lords. Smith batted 8.
Yeah.
Who would have thought he would have become probably the best player of our generation back then. But it made me think, who was the best players back then in 2010? July 2010, the top 10 batting rankings, Steve Smith's debut.
Okay.
Can we name them? This is sort of, I try to make it from around like core memory stuff. So it's a lot of guys. I would have
just sat my NCA level 1 mid-year sort of practice exams, really nestling in for the long road ahead. Yeah.
So I'll give you, I think it was similar to last week where I'll give you a clue now. I'll give you a clue at 20. I'll give you a clue at 40.
Yeah. Okay.
First of all,
2010.
so I just think of the best
Yeah.
batters around that generation, and that's a good way
Yeah.
to start. So we've got 3 Indians. We've got 2 Sri Lankans. We've got 1 Australian. We've got
Yeah.
1 West Indian. We've got 2 South Africans and 1 New
Yeah.
Zealand player from 2010. I haven't got a time up sorted.
2010 Kiwi.
I'll see if I get a timer up, eh? Right, okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Is Michael Clark the Aussie?
He's the 4. Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. I'm going to say Kumar Sangakkara, one of the Sri Lankans.
He's your 3.
J.L. Wardner is one of the Sri
He's your
Lankans.
2.
That's lovely stuff. Ross Taylor is one of the Kiwis.
Yes, he's your 10. And that's a pause.
That's a good.
Right, that's a very good segment. That's
a good start.
Is it 4 for 4?
It's a good start.
It's a very good start. So
4.
you got Ross Taylor, you've got Michael Clark, you've got 2 Sri Lankans.
Yeah.
Okay,
so I've got my Aussies, mate. So I've just got 3 Indians.
3 Indians, 1 West Indian, and 2 South Africans.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all the ones I can think about. So we've got an aggressive batsman. We've got a left-hander from India, potentially one of the greatest batsmen of all time, maybe the greatest cricketer of all time, greatest captain of all time, and someone's son is playing now. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Okay. And 3, 2, 1, go.
We've got Sehwag.
Sehwag's your 1.
Wow, that's huge. Well, I'd like to discuss that. Dhoni.
No.
Tendulkar.
Yes, he's at 7.
Graham Smith.
He's your 8. No, 9. Sorry.
Callis.
He is your 8, and that's another pause. That's a very good round, Jacko. So
this is my sort of generation, actually.
It's a good generation. So I think that's 2 to go. So you're at 2
I've
to
got
go.
An Indian and a West Indian.
You've got an Indian and a West Indian. Okay. Now, the last clue is both of these guys are left-handers.
Left-handed Indians. I'm struggling with that one, but
So
I'll do my
a left-handed Indian and a left-handed West Indian. The Indian is going to be quite tough. You're going to have to really think about wheelhouse. Okay. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Shivnarine Shendapur is the West Indian.
He is indeed. Yeah. Last one.
Beautiful. Luxman, BVS.
No, he's a right-hander.
Yeah, that hurts. Left-handed. Fuck. I've got no idea. Patan? Yusuf Patan?
No, he's a right-hander. That's time.
Right-handed. Oh, that's so hard.
It was Gautam Gambhir.
Oh, got him. Oh,
you feel like you could have got that?
Nah, never would have got to that.
I was trying to think how many more clues. Like, what do you think would have given away?
Why couldn't you give me maybe just a franchise cornerstone of the Calcutta Knight Riders?
Just a real specific. He made 90 odd in the World Cup final.
Yeah, just a foundation player of the Knight Riders might have got me there.
Well, originally when I was looking up the rankings, I started off with the year, and so it originally just comes up with January the 1st. And January the 1st, do you know who the number 1 batsman was? It was Gambhir. So
really, wow.
So I was thinking like, oh, well, I can't give you that list because you'll never get it. And then he shows up on this list as well. What about Sehwag at 1?
Is quite something. He was fucking good for a bit. He was scoring like triple hundreds for fun, like off not many balls for a bit there.
Is he underrated, do you think? Like as an all-timer?
I think so. I think he just gets lost in that Indian batting era.
Yeah.
Like I think he's probably the Indian version of like a Matty Hayden, like
Yeah,
brutal, really, really good, but like sort of played with Ponting, played with Laxman, played with your Tendulkars, like your Gambiers, your Donis, your Coleys, like just had like so much talent around him that his sort of record as its own doesn't stand apart from those guys. But yeah, he was some times back then when he was very, very destructive.
yeah. No, it's tell you what, Jacko, you're starting to get quite good at this. I feel like you're starting to
Yeah.
get these things. I feel like a 10 out of 10. We're not far away. We're not far
Yeah,
away.
that was a bit the closest I've been in a while, but that was good. Yeah.
I thought it was quite hard. That's not an easy one, like it. So I thought that was very impressive. Like you've done
Yeah.
worse with a lot easier challenges.
Yeah. I think that's just like the perfect age of like when I start like properly remembering things. And
Mm,
there's quite a lot of greats in that list, isn't there?
yeah, yeah. Because it'd be interesting if it was like 5 years ago, that's starting to
Yeah.
get a little tough because like you actually got a life at that point.
Even 3 years ago could be tough.
Oh, like now would be tough to be fair.
Yeah. Like, because like
Um,
guys like Henry Nichols come like was at number 5 in a test like batting order at one time. So like, yeah,
if anyone's going to
it's
get that,
almost
it's going
the
to be
further
you.
back you go, the easier it gets. Yeah, that'll be my
Yeah.
first pick.
Yeah. Righto, let's wrap this up for this week. Yeah, that's us for another week, team. Thanks to our lovely Patreons for supporting us. If you have any suggestions on game segments, anything we can make better, let us know. I had someone reach out to us that said, I haven't set up Discord yet. That's fair. That's on me. Probably need to set that up better.
Yeah,
Really showing the age on that, but we are working on it. It's hopefully going to be pretty good for you guys moving forward. So, yeah, in the meantime, Jacko, we will catch you next week.